Everybody, this is Thanksgiving week, the way it was supposed to be. The Texas Longhorns have Texas A&M coming up on this Saturday. Now, hopefully, we can get the game to being played on Thanksgiving. But this is the step in the right direction. This is a step in the right direction. Now, what we're going to be looking at today is the chances of the Texas Longhorns, depending on whether they win the game versus A&M, whether they lose the game versus A&M, and then if they win the game versus A&M, do they win or lose the SEC championship? So there's three possible scenarios. We're gonna go ahead and look, and we're gonna see what the not only what the percentages are for obviously does Texas make the cultural playoff according to the cultural playoff predictor? Do they get a first round bye? Do they get a first round host if they don't get a first round bye? Uh, and also, does the cultural playoff predictor have us winning the national championship? Now that's of all the predictions that it could have, that's probably the least relevant of any of them. But we're going to go ahead and go into it today. So if you like the video, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then comment down below your thoughts. Should Texas be guaranteed a college football playoff spot? That's basically what we're talking about here today. Now this is last updated November 17th, so it's not 100% here. Wait one second. So it's not 100% updated, but I'm actually gonna say I don't think this number is actually as accurate. I think they might have messed up the date because if it wasn't updated, obviously you have Texas right there, right? There's no Kentucky, and we've already played Kentucky in this. So basically, I think that there's a chance that that number is just wrong. So we're gonna go ahead and assume that this is updated and everything is good to go with this. So obviously the Texas Longhorns. Back to that right here. They got us at a 98% chance to make the college football playoff. Oregon, Ohio State, guaranteed. Penn State, as close to guaranteed as you can get. Texas and Indiana are the next two closest. So really, if you look at it, they have four Big Ten teams making the college football playoff. I think this is almost the exact opposite of what you would have thought heading into the year. You'd assume that the SEC would have had more representation at the top level, but that's not the case. The Big Ten, whether you agree with it or not, I think that they are, being propped up by lower level competition. Now I know this is funny coming from a Texas fan because we've had a pretty weak schedule, but to be honest, a weak schedule in the Big Ten and a weak schedule in the SEC are two far different difficulties of schedules, and I think the SEC is far more difficult when you're talking about the weaker level teams. I mean, you got like Purdue. Purdue would be far worse than any team that we've ever played this year. Shout out to Hudson Card though. Georgia at 91%, Notre Dame at 90. So basically, the top 12 drops down to Alabama, and then you really start to get into a big hodgepodge of people right here. So what happens at the Texas Longhorns? What do we win? What if we win? Okay, let's just go ahead and say we lose the conference championship game. 99% chance to make the college football playoff. 1% chance. No, not 1% chance. We're not at all going to make the. Hold on one second. We have zero chance of getting a first round bye. Now they give us an 83% chance to host the first round. Uh, then we get a 17% chance of being a first round visitor. But even more so, I mean, you know what? I like this one. They got the Texas Longhorns won the national championship, so maybe that might be the best scenario for us. Uh, what they have us for a probable possible first playoff game. They'd have us versus Alabama. Then we go to Georgia. That would be really that would be kind of funny. Getting two SEC teams and then almost kind of proving ourselves like, hey, all that stuff that y'all said about us earlier in the year about us not being a good playing good SEC teams and not being able to beat good SEC teams. Well, not only did we beat Georgia and get revenge on them to prove y'all wrong, we went out there and beat Alabama too. So that would be kind of funny. Okay, this scenario would be kind of funny. You got Ohio State and the Ohio State, Miami, Georgia, Boise get the buys, and you know what? Okay, so here's something interesting about this one. I'm not sure if y'all noticed this. I just now noticed it. There's no Big 12. No Big 12 on the podium. You have Boise State with the 4th seed. They're getting in as the 4th highest ranked conference champion. So it doesn't have to be a Power 4. It just have to be the highest ranked top 4 conference champions. And then you got Tulane. Tulane would be ranked above Arizona State or BYU or Colorado. So the Big 12 missing out on the College Football Playoff. That would be wild. That would be wild to see. Now, going on, the Texas Longhorns. Okay, so what if we'll save the loss for after this, okay? We win the conference championship game. This is the easiest of the scenarios that we could ever go to. They got us losing in the national championship. Or no, they got us losing in not the national championship, but the semifinal to Notre Dame right here. We'd be beating Tennessee in the second round with the first round bye. 99% chance to make the playoff. Obviously, given got the first round bye. That's a given. Ohio State, they have them getting the first round. Texas first round. Miami first round. Boise, and then again Tulane. The College Football Playoff predictor is not a big fan of the Big 12 right now. That's kind of the main takeaway that I'm having right here. More than anything that I was trying to get with Texas. But right now they have Texas, the finals, the 2 scenarios that we've gone through. Who knows? Finals and then the semifinals. So I think the playoff predictor is kind of liking Texas' chances to go far in the College Football Playoff here. But so what happens if A&M wins? What happens if A&M wins the game versus Texas? Texas has an 88% chance to make the playoff, 34% chance to host the first round, 54% chance to be a first round visitor. That would suck. This would suck being the one, like, we're one game away from, or not one game away, but we're 1 seat away from being hosting a game in DKR, a college football playoff game in DKR. That would be an electric environment. They have us losing to Ohio State in the second round. So this is the least favorable of all those scenarios. And honestly, 100%, we lose Texas A&M, we don't get a host, and we lose to Ohio State. You shitting me? Hell yeah, I don't like this scenario. But one thing that I'm curious about is I want to see the consistency of this. So it says A&M has a 6% chance of winning making the college football playoff. Let's say A&M does not, because obviously if they win it, they're getting in no matter what. A&M, for A&M to win, to make the college football playoff per the college football playoff, or the All-State playoff predictor at this point, not the college football playoff, but like the actual All-State playoff predictor. So it's nothing official or anything like that. A&M would have to win the SEC championship to make the college football playoff this year, and that's gonna. They really have to win out. they gotta go all the way. Now Texas, according to the college football playoff predictor, Texas fans, we're good. We're in. Today, we're in. Doesn't matter if we lose to A&M. Doesn't matter. If we win versus A&M, cool. Doesn't matter. As far as making the college football playoff goes, we got that. But if part of our goals towards the end of the season is to go and win a national championship, well, then you know what? Yeah, we we won, or not an SEC championship. My bad. Then yeah, we need to beat A&M, because I'm pretty sure it's almost guaranteed that we're not going to get in the SEC championship if we lose to A&M. So right now, the college football playoff, it looks good for the University of Texas. We want to go win an SEC championship, but the number one goal, if I could have one thing the rest of the year, if I could pick one game that I'm guaranteed that we win, and we just make it the rest of the way, I would pick the national championship. I don't care if we lose the SEC championship. I don't care about any of that other stuff, because we could win the SEC championship. we could be dominant in weeks. The first 2 weeks of the that we would play, we wouldn't be playing the first round bye, or we wouldn't be playing the first round because we have a bye. We could be dominant all those 3 weeks, or all not all those 2 weeks leading up to the SEC the national championship, and then go lose the national championship, and then it doesn't matter. What is like? Who gives a shit at the end of the day? So the Texas Longhorns they appear to be guaranteed a spot in the college football playoff, and if you ask me, Longhorn fan, obviously I think that's the correct decision. Some of y'all probably don't. If you're from the Big Ten, you probably really don't. If you're from the Big 12 and y'all don't get a single team in the SEC, or not, I keep saying SEC championship. If y'all don't get a single team in the college football playoff, and Texas gets in, and we've lost our only 2 ranked matchups, then yeah, sure, y'all probably going to be pissed off about Texas making it in. But it is what it is. So if you like the video, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then comment down below your thoughts. Does Texas deserve to get in, even if we lose to A&M? All right, everybody. Hope you all have a great day. And as always,